So we have health, but we don't have, we have our health value, but that's working in the background, but we don't have it showing up on screen. What's up?
So
Can you scroll down one line of code?
Every time I copy down the code,
Yeah.
so it's like if I put my mouse here and I start typing here, for whatever reason, sometimes it glitches out and it just starts typing where my like cursor is instead of like.
Okay, well, it seems like you might have something wrong with your trackpad. Can you deal with it for class, and after class to take a look at it as the IT professional?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, what's up?
Why is that rec not defined as IQ?
Because you spell bad wrecked. You put a K instead of a T. So just simple, yeah, spelling error. I do that all the time. Okay. So does that work? Does everyone have that? Yes.
I keep getting unexpected indent and I can't find it.
Yeah, it tells you what line.
Well, yeah, I found the indent, but like I can't like delete it because it's like not a space. It's
So in my code, what line is it? All right.
Can you scroll up to line 110 about?
You got it?
Actually, a little further.
Yep.
100. Yeah, right there.
So what you guys might have done, if you indent screen.blit one too many for your bad guy image, you'll rarely see your badger. So screen.blit needs to be even with our 4 arrow in quiver, or just 2 indents in. So if it's 3, it'll look like this. You'll only see it. There's no badgers, but when I click, I see them. So that indent is really important. It can't be indented 3 tabs. It has to only be indented 2. And it's even with our 4 arrow and quiver.
We should add sound to it.
We will. Sound is going to be the last thing just because the soundtrack is really annoying to me. And we can change it, but I leave that up to you. What was your question, Stockton?
I don't know. I think it's just a glitch because it was working consistently and then it stopped working after that.
All right. Well, I'll see. Once we finish, I'll take a closer look and I'll debug it.
Yeah, second, I get the same thing.
So like after a while, it says like you can't find. Says bad guys that remove X.
Bad guys that remove what?
X, but in my code, it's bad guys that remove badger and the line number it's at.
Are you spamming the arrows?
Yeah.
Don't spam the arrows.
Am I just killing it before it spawns or something?
No, so if you're getting that error, and it took me a while to figure out why this was happening. What you have happening is you have 2 arrows hitting the same badger at the same time. And your code deletes one of them, and then it goes to the next arrow, and then it goes, that arrow needs to get deleted, but you can't delete that badger because it's already been deleted. That is due to a processing computer thing, so that's not an error on you guys. That's a hardware constraint that you would then have to code for, which you guys haven't learned yet. But if you want to know, we do that in the advanced class, so take the advanced class. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to know how much health we have, right? Because you can't play a video game if you don't know how much health you have. That is the truth. Hang on, yes, David.
I'm getting a value error in like line 126. Like I have bad guys that produce badger.
Yeah.
But it gives me a value error.
Again. Are you scrolling your scroll wheel and having a bajillion?
Yes.
Don't do that. I just got finished explaining why that's happening. You have 2 arrows hitting the same badger at the same time. So don't spam it. just click. Don't use the scroll wheel, and that won't happen.
Is there possible to simplify? Would be able to scroll?
Yes, and I just said that as well. You can learn how to, we specifically learn how to do that in the advanced class, and if you would like to learn, I can show you. But that's not something we cover in this class. Okay, so what we're going to do is, again, we need to know, all right, guys, I want you to stop playing the game and get back to your code. So this next little bit is 3 lines long. So it's pretty easy, but it'll change your game tremendously because you'll know how close you are to dying. So we have in our resources folder, and I'm going to pull it up, and I'll show you what it is. You guys don't need to necessarily look this up because it's on your computer. It's in the exact same location as your other images, so you'll just need to load it in like we've done everything else. So this is our health bar on screen, and then this is our health. 1 pixel wide little image, and what we do is we blit that little pixel the number of times we have health. So there's a very specific, does anyone remember the specific reason why health value equals 194? Josh. That's how many pixels there are in, where'd it go? Oops. That's how many pixels are in this. It's zoomed in a little bit. So this is 194 pixels in our game. And so what we do is we layer on top of that this green line until it fills however much health we have. Does that make sense? Can you put the food away? Thank you. So we go 194 times, and every time we lose health, we just don't blit as many lines of code or as many vertical lines. Does that make sense? This is 1 pixel wide. So what we do is you want to go right above your Pygame.display update. We can't put anything we want to see after it. Why? It won't show up because update is like opening the curtain so you can see what's on stage, and if you do it, and then it closes. So if you put anything after the update, you won't see it because the curtain has closed and you don't see it anymore. So everything we want to see has to be above Pygame.display.update. So what we're going to do, as soon as I see the code over here, is what is the code to put on screen? What's the command to put something on screen? Screen.blit, correct. A set of parentheses. What do we have to put? What's the first argument here? In general, what do we want to have the first thing be? The thing we want to see in blitting, right? It's the image. And that is health bar. And we're going to then go back up and load these images in. We're just going to get this line done first. And then in our game, the location we put it is 5, 5. The reason that is 5 pixels in, 5 pixels down, so it's at the very top left corner of our screen. And that's typically where health is. It's always at the edges of the screen. Some video games have it at the bottom, like in Skyrim. You have it in the exact same location. Some games you don't have a health bar, but we do here. So 5, 5. And now what we're going to do, well, we'll just finish this section and then we'll go up and load in the images. So like I said, we loop through how much health we have. So the first time before we get hit at all, how much health do we have? 194. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 remaining underscore health. And again, you need your loops. Actually, I'll wait 1 sec. Yes, this needs to be both. Oh, no, because you want the layer, the order of things that are blitted. The first thing blitted is always what? If I have 2 objects that I'm putting on screen, the first one I blit is where in relation to the second? It's behind it. So what we want is the health bar first so that it's there, and then on top of that we layer the health. So we blit our bar first, and then we put the health over it. So for remaining health, and notice, I didn't just put X for X in health. I have my variable, the name of my variable describes what it is. So I have remaining health. Now I know anytime I see remaining health, that is what I need to, that's what it is. It's remaining health. It's not X, and I'm not looking up, well, where did I define X? And then I'm looking at Y. It's really good coding to do it this way, and it prevents, one, it makes debugging errors easier, and it keeps you sane. So for remaining health in, can I just put health value here? I think it's underscore value. Oh, well, we get to change it. Who said no? Why is that, Ezra?
I actually don't know. It just seems like the range.
Have like remaining
Cause
health
like
in
when
all
those
health.
types of questions are asked.
Well, you were right, but you guessed, so you only get like a quarter point. No, I'm kidding. What was that, Catherine?
Change to like all health.
Not health. Well, so let me jump over here real.
194. Can you just bring all the other?
Hang on. So if I do for remaining health in 194, is that how we code a for loop?
No, they're hard coding.
Well, it's hard coding it, and
Oh, and it's only gonna go to 193.
nope,
I was gonna do it 194 times.
nope.
Isn't that 194 is not available?
It's not iterable. What does that mean, Catherine?
Because you separated it.
Correct. How many things go into 194 in code? Obviously, 194 in our world is there's 194 things in it. But in code, the integer 194, what makes up the integer 194?
194.
There's nothing that makes it up. So what do we need to do in order to get the numbers from 0 to 194? In range, yep. So if we do range, and there we go. Those are the numbers in 0 to 194. So what do we need to do here in this line of code? If health value is 194, in range, yep. So in range of 194. So now this is where we're actually putting the lines on screen. So if we're putting something on screen, what's the code we need to use? Screen.blit. And again, what's the first argument in the blit command? What is that?
What you want to blit?
What we want to blit. Nice job, Peter.
Like a health thing, or just one health?
Yeah, so we're gonna call this health. That's the single image, the single green line of our health bar. Now this next part is a little, this is where like you gotta know how your artwork works and the sizes of it and stuff. So if we look back at this, the width of this whole image is like 202. Is it 202, 5, 8? No, it's 200 pixels. What that means is that if our health value, if the red part is 194, if our health value is 194, and this whole pixel, the width of our image is 200 pixels, what does that tell you? If the red part's 194 and the whole thing is 200,
Starting at like 4 after. No, you start them at 8. Because there's a 5 pixel gap, then there's a 3 border, so you have to put it at 8. Or actually no, but it would
no, correct.
It change every time you run it, so it shouldn't be like 8 plus remaining health or something.
You're extremely close. Can you see my screen?
No.
Good. So the black part of this image is 3 pixels wide. Okay? So if we blit this top corner at 5, 5, where do we need to blit the health?
3 and
5, 5 plus 3, which is 8, 8,
Oh, that's max. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So that I'm sorry that took so long to go through, but so we then have to do, so our y never changes, right? We always split it on the same y coordinate.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with 8 being our y and not do the x, because the x is, if we have 0 health remaining, or let's say we have 1 health remaining, where does our health need to be blitted? What x coordinate does it have to be blitted at? If we have 0 health, where does it get blitted at? 8. If we have 9 health, or if we have 1 health, it gets blitted at. If we have 10 health, it gets blitted at 18. But that was a little tricky. So it has to be 8 more than what? Nope. Health value is 194. Remaining health. Remaining underscore health. Perfect job, guys. That is called group coding.
We should be able to do that on our final too.
It would actually take you probably longer to do your final that way.
Not our, well,
But we might get more things.
we can do a final.
Well, guys, and you, well, so for your final one, I really don't like answering too many questions about the final because I go over a lot, and I specifically spend like an entire day going over it. But when you're doing your final, you will be able to like, hey, I don't understand, can you help me? You guys can talk to each other. You guys can use the internet. You can use your book. I don't really care. Just as long as you're not like copy, paste, there you go, code. Josh.
Will there be like a test for the final?
No, this entire semester, it's been, you have your final project, which is your code, and what we do in class is a presentation in which you tell me about your code. Okay, so now the only thing we need to do, obviously if you run this, you're going to get an error saying things haven't been defined. So we haven't defined health bar, we haven't defined health. So what we need to do is we need to go back up to all of our images. And I am going to pick grass. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it twice. It doesn't matter what image you pick. I just picked grass because it was there. So then I'm going to change the first one to health. Actually, no, health bar. Sorry. Do I have that one word or 2 words down here? 1 word? Okay. Health bar, and then I'm going to change my grass to health. And the names of these images are the same as the variable. So I'm going to go to the end, and the top one is health bar.
Oh, never mind. It's a green pixel.
Yeah, health. The variable health is the green pixel wide little line. Health value is how much starting health we have. And then remaining health is our remaining health.
So how do you get the health with the health value together?
Say that again?
How do you get the image health and health value together?
So right here, it's in the for loop. So we blit health however many times we have remaining health. And we do, I forgot, we do take down health value. Every time we get hit, health value goes down a little bit.
That goes down a lot.
Anywhere from 5 to 20.
Oh, so it's like random.
It's random.
That's not weird, though.
So now when we run it, you should get something that looks like,
But you're not going to get your thing, right?
yeah, you don't have a box around you.
Your responsibility is getting done.
Right? See, I don't get hurt. You could code it to where,
Health starts down a little bit.
what do you mean it starts down a little bit?
It's like, oh no, the green bar is like outside of the box.
The image for what, Catherine?
Health bar and health.
Oh, we still need to make a list.
And a win.
And a clock.
Like from the research thing.
Yeah, I'm at 0.
It's the same as these, so it's healthbar.png and health.png. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do the timer. Oh, Ezra.
Wait, what are we doing for remaining health in range? I just.
Health value.
Miss Stoll, Mr. Stoller, I got it. And now it's like, Pygame not display updated
Wait, is it underscore or just health value?
Depends on what you coded it as. I don't know.
My badger only shows up after, like, after the task.
Okay, so you're bad. This line here is in the wrong spot probably.
Can you calculate that?
Wait, didn't we make it so that we go super fast if we're hurt?
Yeah. No, not super fast if you're hurt.
Super fast.
Super fast after a certain amount of time, and after you get 50% of your health taken away, you change images.
Okay, because like mine are going too fast.
Oh, then comment that line. Comment those lines out then.
Find where the line was.
Oh, you have to find that.
But no, it happened. Okay, maybe it was my sense.
Okay.
I thought it was because of the low health.
All right. So what we need to get our clock going. So it doesn't matter where this is, as I'm gonna do it before our screen dot blit with our images, or I'm sorry, with our health. So this, and actually I don't need. Okay. So the first thing, and then we're gonna have to do a little bit of math, because if I just give you the numbers, it might not make sense. So font is Pygame.font with a capital F, none and 24. So this is the font, like Times New Roman, Papyrus, blah blah blah. We're telling it, don't give it anything special, just whatever you default to. There's only like 11 types of fonts that are supported by Pygame, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then 24 is, I think, the size of it, the pixels, I think. We're going to say that. So once you guys have that, I need you to not code anything else. I just need you to pay attention. So I'm going to jump over to
What was the other number?
none comma 24. So don't code nothing, just pay attention up here. Because I'm going to ask you guys some math questions. Not hard ones, but how many milliseconds are in 1 second?
1,000.
1,000. So if I have second equals 1, that's the same as a millisecond equals 1,000, right? That makes sense. So how many seconds are in 90,000 seconds?
You just put 3 more zeros on the end.
He said how many seconds are in 90,000?
Then it'd be 90 million.
How many seconds are in 90,000 milliseconds? If I misspoke,
then
I'm
you
sorry.
divide by 1,000.
So I have 90
seconds.
seconds. So our game is based on 90 seconds. If you survive 90 seconds, you win. Okay? So,
Make the output.
yeah, you can make it whatever you want. This is just 90 seconds. So if I have 90,000, that's 90 seconds, minus 15,000. How many seconds? How many seconds have gone by? 15. Awesome. And how many seconds do I have left? 75. So I have 75 seconds left. Of that 75 seconds, how many minutes are in 75 seconds? Just with how many whole number minutes? So if I have 75,000, how would I figure that out? 60,000, that gives us 1.25. But if, like Josh said, I integerize it, that tells me I have 1 minute left. So the way we figure out how many minutes are left, we take our time, so we integerize the whole thing. Then we take 90,000 seconds, minus however long the game has been going. Right? We're going to put a command in there to figure that out. Brendan, David, I said not to be coding. Stockton, just be paying attention up here. So give me any number great or that's less than 30.
20,000 milliseconds.
So 20,000 milliseconds means the game has been going for how long?
20 seconds.
20 seconds, yes. And then what did we do to figure out how many minutes were left?
Divided by 60,000.
Divide by 60,000. That's 6,000. So that gives us 1 minute left. So we're going to display 1 minute. Does that make sense? Now, we're going to do the same thing with seconds. So again, we have to integerize, and we have 190, 1, 2, 3. And so we're going to say, let's do the same thing. Let's do minus 20,000. So how many seconds has gone by? 20. So on a timer, how many seconds are left? We have 1 minute, obviously. We figured that out. If we've been playing for 20 seconds out of a 90-second timer, how much time do we have left? We have 10 seconds left. So our math should come out for this to equal 10. So what we then do, we do the same thing. We get this number. Then what we do is we divide that number by 1,000, which gives us 70. Right? So again, we have 90,000 seconds minus 20,000 seconds gives us 70,000, which tells us how many seconds are left. 70. We have 70 seconds left. We don't want to display 70. We need to display 10. Because we have a minute, because we're going to display a minute timer, and we need to count down per second. So we have 1 minute already, and then we're going to have 2 colons, then we're going to have seconds left. Brendan, David, Josh, what are you guys doing? Not really doing anything? Are you paying attention up here?
I'm a little lost.
Okay.
Or it's like talking about the timer.
Yeah. So our timer counts down. So we're always going to display the number of minutes left followed by the number of seconds left. So if I have a minute, so if I'm playing for 90 seconds, Ezra, my timer's set for 90 seconds. How many minutes and how many seconds is that? A minute 30. So we're going to display 1 minute 30 seconds. After playing for 10 seconds, what should that timer display? 1 minute 20 seconds. So we figured out how to do the 1 minute. How did you figure out that we had 1 minute left out of 90 seconds after playing for 10 seconds? You take 90 minus 10, because you've been playing for 10 gives us what? 80. And then basically in your head you divide that by 60, and then you get 1, right? So that's all we did up here, right? So think of it this way: think of it as 90 minus 20 divided by 60.
It's actually, like, if you can do it with the remainder, then it'll be a lot easier. You just do the number divided by 60,000 milliseconds, and then display the remainder after the colon.
That's what we're going to do.
I just didn't know if there's like a remainder function.
There is a remainder function.
We already learned that, right?
You did learn it. What's the symbol for it? Percent sign, yes. So this is where we're currently at. We have 70 seconds. We need to have this display 10,
Minus 60.
not minus 60. Because if you minus 60, that gives us 10, but what if we were playing for 22 seconds? 29, it can't be 20. Oh. Oh wait, would that work? So if we've been playing for 45 seconds, yeah, no, that gives us negative 15. So it's percent sign. That gives us 45. So we've been playing for 45 seconds. We have 45 seconds left. If we go with 20, that gives us 10 seconds. You guys understand how this breaks down?
Put back to the font.
This is our final time. This is the time that we play for is 90 seconds. This is how long we have been playing for. This gets us out of milliseconds and into seconds. This gives us how many seconds are left. So you could probably no, that still gives us 10,000. So you would still need to divide by, but you can do it either way. So this is how we get our minutes and seconds. So in our code, after we have font, we need to have minutes and seconds. Does anyone not understand that? Would anyone like me to go over that again?
It's just gonna be a lot of code.
Not a lot of
We're
code.
gonna display like minutes and oh no, I was thinking about like hours.
No, just minutes and seconds. If you want to play this game for 90 hours, go right ahead. You can code that, but I'm not walking down that path. I'm not playing a game for 90 hours. Although there is a game that takes 90 real world days to beat. It progresses in real time.
Oh, is there like a big map that you can like walk around?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's either Game Maker's Toolkit or Adam Millard. The architect of games, they talk about it. So we have minutes and seconds. So we need to integerize both of these. And then we need to get the time remaining. So you're going to have two sets of parentheses in this code. In the first set, it's going to be 90,000 minus. Now, in our example, what did we put here? 20,000 because I picked a random number. But we need it to be a command that figures out how long they've been playing the game.
Timer?
Nope, there's something built in because there's something built into Pygame that measures how long in milliseconds, regardless of how fast your computer is, how long it's been running. So what we're gonna do, it's called Pygame.time.get_ticks. Ticks is like tick, 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 tick. One tick is 1 millisecond.
Like when you change the text to your Minecraft.
Sure. I've never played Minecraft, so.
I'm so disappointed.
Have you played Marathon? The precursor to Halo from the 90s? I didn't think so. I'm depressed by that. No, I'm kidding. So once you have this, I'm just gonna copy this whole line and paste it. So you could make this slightly more efficient, and instead of calling the same thing twice, you call it once up there and make it a variable, but we're not looking for efficiency. We just want it to work. So now in the minutes line, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide by 60,000. Then down here, I'm going to divide by 1,000. And then I'm going to divide by 60. So that gives us how many minutes and how many seconds are left. There it is. Yes.
Out of curiosity, I know that Pygame.time.get_ticks finds the milliseconds. Why does it find the milliseconds, or why don't they just make it so it just finds regular seconds in case the game goes really, really fast?
No, because computers measure everything in milliseconds.
Oh.
Your computer works at the time scale of milliseconds. So like thank you, Sonny. I should be able to talk to YouTube server in under like 100 milliseconds. So in a tenth of a second, I should be able to talk and get back to YouTube server. That's actually kind of long. For video gaming, it needs to be less than 50 milliseconds. Or less than 75 is optimal, but less than 25 for like high-speed gaming. That's when you get, otherwise that's when you get lag. Catherine.
I think you swipe and the time is less than 60 seconds with the second thing. Because if we got like less than a minute and then we use the second, it will be a negative number.
No, because you can't ever have negative. We code it so that as soon as this is greater than 90,000, the game's over. So can it get to negative? Can this number get bigger than this number? Yeah, 100%, but we code it to stop the game before that happens. And also this should be seconds, not second. So now what we need to do is we need to put this stuff on screen. However, we can't just blit a string. Has to be something that's blittable. Strings are not blittable. So what we do is we render the string as an image. Do you guys know what render means? No. So essentially, yeah. We load the images in. We've created the images and we give it to Pygame and then Pygame works with it. What render means is that the computer is creating the thing that we see. It's rendering this into something you see as opposed to taking artwork and making it visible. Make sense? Render is a computer creating something to see as opposed to us loading in an image for us to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to put survived text, because this is how we know how long we have to survive, and it's text. So survived text equals font.render Ezra, what you doing? What you doing? Did that have to be done right then?
No.
No? Because you're not coding. So font.render, this is whatever is in here in these parentheses gets rendered on screen. Okay? So we're going to stringify minutes. We're going to stringify seconds. Now you guys don't have to do this \enter thing. That's just so all of the work can be on one line for you all to see. Oops.
Can we put like spacing between them?
Do we have to do the colon thing?
You have to do the colon thing. Spacing is up to you, Stockton.
I feel like it'd be really cool if it's like some forward spacing.
If you want it to be all closer, that's fine with me. Once you have the string, you need the word true. I can't remember what it does, but it doesn't work if you don't have it. So it's probably, if it's false, it doesn't show up. True, it does. So you can have stuff, you can have it flip. So sometimes you can see the timer, sometimes you can't. How would you make that visible only sometimes?
If you have like 30 seconds left, it'll start showing up.
Right, but what would you put here instead of true or false?
I guess you could say like survive. Wait, what do you mean? Like, oh, like if something's true?
Yeah. Like, so if something happens, you see this, but otherwise you don't.
So you can put a variable there, and that variable would become true or false depending on the event.
Exactly. So I would make this a variable instead of having it be true or false. I think this will work. Caveat, I think it'll work. You make this a variable, and then you have another if statement. So if blank, this variable is true, otherwise it's false. So you only see it under certain circumstances. And then after that, we need the color. So who remembers how we do color?
No. Red,
Oh.
green, blue. Oh, wait, we do,
RGB values. Yep.
Yeah.
So if I wanted this to be pure blue, what are the three numbers I type in?
0, 0, 2, 5, 5.
0,
0,
0, 255.
Wait. I want my purple.
Well, do it for blue for now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now we just need to put this on screen. So how do we do that again? Screen dot blit. What do we want to put on screen?
Survive that.
And where do we want to put it?
Like
Somewhere in the top right.
Oh.
Now, there are two lines of code here that make sure the top right is in the same location. You don't need to have that. So we're just going to we're going to guess it. 645.
You don't want to like overlock the. Wait, this is gonna be the bottom one?
This is going to be on the far right. Okay, so apparently it's not showing up. So let's do 600. There we go. 605. Now there is something that a student asked in the 3rd hour class. Just take a look at this number up here. Tell me what happens when it gets to a single digit.
Oh, it gets rid of the 0.
So if you want to have the 0, it's a very easy thing you do real quick. What you do is here after the string dot seconds, you do that zfill 2. What that does is it always makes sure there are 2 digits for that string.
Wait, it says I gave too many arguments.
What?
It says I gave too many arguments and survived that. I only gave 4.
So you should have.
Oh, I know I did.
Okay.
My time doesn't go for like real life time. It's like still 1, 8, and then 7.
So you probably have all of this.
Am I really slow?
Well, is all of this one indent in? If it's more than one indent in, it's wrong. If you have it more than one indent in, you will have it look like this as soon as it loads. Oh, I don't know. It's actually working. Sometimes it's not even showing up on screen. But it needs to just be one indent in. I'll take a look at that once we're done, Catherine, because we got 20 minutes left. That is essentially all of the game. We're not done because we still have to do end screen and loading screen, or end screen, winning and losing, and sound effects. But what we're going to do now is why?
No, it's why when you have to put overarching parentheses around string, minute, comma, like the colon, string section, dot equal to.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put another set of brackets around this?
Around what?
All from end of zfill to the start of string.
Because this is one string. So dot render needs 3 things. It needs what am I displaying? True, false, yes, no, am I actually displaying it? And the color. So you need a string, comma, true, comma, color.
But what it did is it took like the parentheses, one of the top 3 colon is an argument.
Do you have a plus here? Or do you have a comma?
Oh.
It can't be a comma. This all has to be one string. The second you have commas in between 2 strings, it makes it 2 strings and not one. It has to be a plus. Okay, So now we got to start doing some background stuff in order to get the win in Endgame. So scroll up to the very top of your while loop, and you should see running equals 1. Okay, and while running equals 1, our game runs. So no matter what, and do we change running in our game at all? No, so this game will go on forever. We don't want that. We want to code in breaks, hard stops, and go somewhere else. So what we're going to do is we're going to make exit code is 0. Now, exit code tells us the state at which the game ends. So if we have a 0, we won. If we have a 1, we lost. And then in your game, say you have multiple endings or multiple ways you could end. You could get 0 health. You could run out of time. You could, and depending on your game, you could have if you fall off the screen, right? If you're on a tower looking down, you can't fall off. Oh, you fell to your death versus you died, versus you got hit with an arrow or whatever. If you have multiplayer, you have player 2 dying and not player 1. You have both of them dying at the same time. So all of these different end games, right? Ways you could end the game, you need to code for. We only have 2. We either win or you lose. So you win by surviving 90 seconds or you lose by losing your health. So we only need 1 of 2. So exit code 0 is what we're going to default to. Now we're going to scroll all the way to the end, to the very bottom of the code. Very, very bottom. Very bottom. All the way. Now we're going to have 2. Eventually we'll have 3 if statements and an else statement. We're going to start with 2. So it's 1 indent in. This still has to be in our game loop. Everything we're writing is in our game loop up until the very last, one of the very last things we do. So if we have 2 ways to lose, or 2 end games, what's the way we win?
Time runs out.
Time runs out, so that could also be seen as what getting bigger than what?
Health getting bigger than time.
Nope.
Time remaining, like, time without second thing.
Yep.
Greater than time.
Essentially, if pygame.time.get ticks is greater than what? Greater or equal to 90,000. So this controls how long the game will go for. So if you win, exit code is 1 because you won. Really? Thanks, Josh. I got 1 pity left. Exit code is 1. Running is, what do we want running to be? If we want our game to end,
0.
or anything that's not 1. So, but we'll change it to 0. Then, what's the way we lose?
Health value.
Do I have it as 1? Do I have it as an underscore?
Yeah.
Yeah, health value. What'd you say, Stockton?
Is equal to 0, or I guess it's less than 0.
Less than or equal to. What do you think we want the exit code to be?
0.
Exit code is 0.
It's only equal to the
Didn't you do that as an elif?
Yeah. And what should running be?
0.
Yep. And like Peter said, we'll change this to an elif so it's one or the other, so it doesn't check. It doesn't really matter because it's only going to check it. It's still going to check them both until the very last time we run it. Then this will either be true or that one.
Wait, I have a question.
Yep.
Why is exit code still 0 in this case and not 1?
Because this is, we won the game. Because 1 equals 1.
So we're gonna show
Say it out loud. And this means we lost. Sad face.
Oh, so it's gonna be like if exit code is greater than or equal to.
If exit code is 1, this is the end screen. If exit code is 0, here's the lost screen. We just haven't gotten there yet. So,
Nice.
Wait, we still need to make it exit code, like if exit code equals 0.
yeah, you still need that.
We're gonna make
Well, you don't. I mean, you don't. Do you? No. Should you? Probably, just so you know. Alright.
There's nothing that exit code. Oh wait, is that?
It never changes, but that's just so you have the same thing in the same spot so you understand. It doesn't really matter that we've defined this as 0 at the beginning and then we redefine it here. It doesn't really matter.
Wait,
Okay.
so are we doing something that when we make the one screen and the screen? So we don't have to have anything else for that?
No, this is it for these lines of code. What we need to do now is there's one other thing we have to do. We have to calculate the accuracy before we can display the accuracy. Make sense? This is pretty easy. So we're going to scroll all the way up to the top. And underneath quiver, it doesn't have to be underneath quiver, but it does have to be a constant at the beginning of our game. So we're going to do this as a list, so you guys get used to using lists. ACC is accuracy. Yep, accuracy. And it's got to be 0, 0. The way we do this is the number of hits. This is the number of shots. So if I shoot 10 shots and only hit 1, what's my accuracy? 10%. Now, we need to increment these by 1 every time we shoot and every time we hit. So Josh, where do I need to go to do every time I shoot? Shh. You. Hence why I'm looking and pointing at you, but you can't see my finger because of my Dunkin' cup.
I mean, every time you
Every time I shoot, where do I need to type this code?
at the same coordinates as the arrow.
How do I shoot? What do I have to do in order to shoot something? Click.
Oh,
So-
under the mouse.
Yep, so I need to go to under mouse button down and under position, actually not directly under position. Above position, I need to increment ACC shots hit against shots fired. We'll do ACC 1. How do we increment by 1? What?
Change it to accuracy.
Oh, thank you, you're right. How do I increment something by 1?
Plus 1.
Plus equal.
Plus equal 1. So every time I shoot, my accuracy, the number of shots fired will go up every time I click. Every time I hit a badger, I need index 0 to increase. So where do I go?
It's like in the middle.
In the middle,
It's like for badgers.
Where we coded them to delete.
where we coded them to delete. Okay. So what do I put here?
It's if bad rect line rect.
Correct. That's the exact spot in the if bad rect dot collide rect arrow underscore rect.
Put
So-
it right after, or I guess that not be right after. But
Just as long as it's in that if statement.
accuracy 0 plus equal 1.
Accuracy bracket 0 plus equal 1.
I'll use the wrong bracket.
Oh, thank you. Nice catch. Okay, so now I've coded how to get my accuracy. So now I need to calculate it, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the very bottom of the code again. Is everyone caught up? I don't want to, am I going too fast?
I'm not. I have a question from earlier.
I will deal with your question. I'll fix it.
Can you scroll back to line 130 something? Because I did it to-
My lines don't match up to your lines, so it's better to tell me what section.
Of the bad rec section.
Are you here, or do you have issues up here? Yeah, accuracy 0 plus equal 1. Counts how many times I hit a badger. Everyone good? Yes, no, maybe so. It's okay if you're not. Okay. And then I'm also going to put counts how many arrows I shoot. So, what? Okay. So now we need to do our accuracy. So if accuracy bracket 1, how do I know my accuracy will be 0?
If you shoot any arrows and none of them hit.
Wait, hang on. How do they have it here? Hang on. I might have. Every time you shoot, it's 1. No, that's right.
Accuracy 1 or
So if I don't shoot anything, so if I've shot nothing, you know what? I'm not going to try to explain it. Doesn't equal 0. If I've shot something, do this math. If I otherwise, my accuracy is 0. And my ACC rating. This is why I didn't use accuracy before, because this is where normally I would use accuracy. So let's do final accuracy equals accuracy bracket 0 times 1.0. You actually don't need that. Divide by accuracy bracket 1. And I'm going to put all this in there times 100. Does that make sense? So our final accuracy is the number of shots hit divided by the number of shots fired times 100. Now this will show a decimal. What's an easy way for me to get rid of decimals? Integerize it? I think I'm going to integerize it. Because I haven't gone. Did I go over format with you all? So I didn't go over how to only have 2 decimals.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, I did. Yeah, I did. Point dot. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's easier. Now I was 70% accurate. It's fine. I don't need 70.17. I don't care. Okay, so we have 4 minutes, and we have. Hang on. Look at what I did. We have 9 minutes.
45.
Aha. All right, so we may be able to get one of this done. Okay, so now we got to do the lose screens. Well, first you should run your code real quick to make sure you don't have any glaring errors.
I do.
If you do, then I'll have to deal with that later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna figure out later.
All right, I'll deal with errors after whatever. So, if our exit code equals 0, what does that mean? If our exit code is 0, that means did we win or lose?
We lost our health value.
Yes, because exit code wasn't 1, because we didn't won.
Oh yeah.
Now this, guys, pay close attention. This is not inside our for loop. This is not inside our while loop. This is outside of our main game loop. So it should not be indented at all. So this code only gets ran once we're out of our game loop, once we've either won or we've lost. If you indent this, don't. It'll flicker. Wait, no, it won't. You won't see it ever. Even if the game ended, if this was indented, you'd never see it. So if exit code is 00 equals 00, Pygame.font. I don't think you need this, but we're gonna put it anyway. I don't think you do, but whatever. Because we did it earlier. Wait, hang on. Did we already do this?
I know we did Pygame.font that one.
Yeah,
I guess you can change your own keybinds.
whatever. Just leave it. Pygame.font.init. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to scroll up to our survived text, and I'm going to copy font and paste it.
Oh, no, where is that?
I don't know.
Control F, baby.
Yeah. Then I'm also going to copy and paste the survived text because I'm only going to change a few values.
So you copy the whole line.
So this is what you should have. Pygame.font.init. Font equals pygame.font with a capital F. And then you have you should have survived text in your code. But Control F, dude. Control F will search for text. So just type in, SURV, hit enter, and it'll find it. All right. So you guys good?
Does everyone on find survive?
What is Zito doing it?
This should be the very last line in your code so far. Zfill, if you have numbers as a string, so if you have a string, it will fill in empty space. So if I want three numbers, but I only have 2, it will fill the third one with a 0.
Oh, okay.
But we don't need that, so we're actually going to delete that. So we're rewriting the string because we don't want to display the time because the game's over. We want to display what? Nope. We want to render the accuracy. So I don't know if I told you that's how we do. That's how we do. So accuracy, colon space,
Oh, you're asking us.
no, I'm just waiting, plus str final accuracy plus %. And again, you guys don't have to do this. This is just so you guys can see everything. If we lose, we want everything to be red. So how do I change? I'll actually wait. So when you guys are ready, I want you to tell me how to get my text to be red.
Can you say like which one responds to?
RGB, red, green, blue. Brendan, do you know?
Yeah, the first one would be 5.
Okay.
The rest would be 0.
Yes.
That's like
Wait, is it going to be darker?
You can look up RGB values of dark red, and it will give you the 3 numbers.
Like, how would it work? Does it just give you a higher percentage of blue?
I don't know.
I'll just do it.
Yeah, just Google RGB value.
I think the lower you go, the lighter it is.
Yeah.
Like the less it is.
So dark red is 139.00.
Never mind.
Again, I just Googled it. You could get tomato, that's 255.99.71.
Why find tomato? Why is tomato kind of doing it?
I don't know. I'm going to change survived text to text. We're almost done. Almost done.
Well, it's only the one thing.
Yeah, I can skip a lot of that.
We have to redefine font to something else.
Nope, we have 2 lines left. 2 lines, I think, because again, I'm editing this on the fly. So, we need to screen.blit our game over screen, which we should have defined. We did not. So, game over 0,0. Because our game over screen is the exact same size as our playing screen. Now this next bit is a little wonky. We need our accuracy to be displayed in the exact middle of our screen. So I'm going to throw some commands at you that you can then use later. Screen.blit text set of parentheses. All right, we got 2 minutes. We could totally do this. We'll speed through, and then you guys will be confused. So maybe we shouldn't. All right. So we need to get the center of the screen. We need to get the width of the screen and divide it by 2. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can, hey, no, that's actually, you can do screen.getWidth 100%. We're going to condense it even more. We are going to do width, divide by 2. Whoa. Does that make sense?
We already defined it.
Yep, we defined width. This won't be the exact center, but, oh, that's why they do that. All right, we'll do this for now. Then we're going to do height divide by 2 plus 24. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really perfectly centered.
And then we need Pygame.display update. We're going to move that later. Darn it.
No.
And then what we can do is if you want to lose fast when they collide, make it do 200 damage. So if you do that, this hopefully works. Oh, I never loaded game over. Alright, well. Alright, I don't want to keep you guys from lunch. My stomach is rumbling over here, so I'm just making sure that this code works. We'll go over it next Friday, because Monday. Oh, so this is what it'll look like. We don't need to change that because that's close enough, but I can. Normally it's like right here, dead center, but yeah, your homework over the weekend is to look at the review sheet I'm going to post, as well as to get your code working. If your code does not work, you will. I'll get annoyed, I guess.
Tuesday, not Monday, right?
Test is Tuesday. Monday is in-class review session.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.